So today I have a bit of a book haul, book triggers video for you. It has been so long since I actually brought a bunch of books all at one time. I've brought maybe one or two this year, but it's been a long time since I've kind of bought a big bunch of books. And to be honest, I haven't actually read that much this year compared to what I usually read. I don't know why that is. I think it's the books, or I don't know. But I've been dying to read something that really grabs my attention, something really good. So I went and bought quite a few books and I'm looking forward to reading them. I haven't read any of these yet, and one of them I have started, so I can't tell you how good they are yet, but they sound good and that's why I've got them. So yeah, it's been a while since I've read anything really gripping and like shocking, and you know, something that you literally can't put down. It's only really happened to me a few times where I've been really gripped by a book, and I'm dying to find something like that. So let me start with the first one to show you, which is this one called The Couple at Number 9. I actually picked this up. Just gotta sit over here because the microphone's this way. I actually picked this up at my local supermarket in Aldi actually, and it was $3.99 I think, and I like the sound of it, and it's a nice new, brand new shiny book. I love the smell of a new book. I love the smell of any book, but I love the smell of a new book. And there's something about a new book that's, I don't know, special. I don't actually buy new books very often because they can be expensive, and if I don't know I'm going to like the book, I don't want to spend a lot of money on it. So I buy a lot of pre-loved second-hand books. This is the only brand new book that I've got. The rest are pre-loved second-hand. I also give a lot of books away. I only really like to keep a collection of the books I really love and enjoy, and that would probably read again in the future. Otherwise I would have a mountain of books. And I always prefer a real book. I do have a Kindle and I read on it quite a lot, but I prefer a book. So let me read you a little bit. The Couple at Number 9. It was the house of their dreams until the bodies were found. When Safi moves into 9 Skelton Place with boyfriend Tom and sets about renovations, the last thing she expects is workmen uncovering 2 bodies. Forensics indicate the bodies have been buried for 30 years, much to Safi's relief, until the police's murder investigation turns to the cottage's former owner, her grandmother Rose. But Rose is in a care home, Alzheimer's increasingly confusing her memories. As the police dig ever deeper and Rose begins to remember, Safi fears she and the cottage are being watched. And then it's just got a few questions. What happened 30 years ago? What part did her grandmother play? And is Safi now in danger? So I like the sound of it. It sounds like a good one. I haven't seen any reviews. I haven't looked. I actually try not to read too too many reviews because sometimes it can put you off, and everyone's idea of a good book is different. So, but I am looking forward to reading this one. I just finished a book and was thinking of starting this as my next book, but I've chosen another book instead. I'll actually show you what book I chose. So this is what I'm reading at the minute. It's a very big book. It's a lot bigger than like the average size book, which I quite liked actually. I've not really had a book so big unless it's a hardback. It's like a really bendy book. I don't know if it's because it's so old, but it is called The First Days, and I don't know if you can guess by the cover, but it is a zombie book. I have been dying to find and read a zombie book for ages. The only genres I've really ever read are psychological thrillers, romance books, erotic books, and Harry Potter is the only fantasy book I've read yet. I do want to read more fantasy books, but I find it hard to know what to start reading and what I'll enjoy. And I did ask for some book suggestions on YouTube and Instagram, I think, and I have a few. I've got one here that is a book recommendation, but it's a psychological thriller. But I really enjoy zombie shows and movies. I used to hate zombie, anything to do with zombies. I just never really interested, thought it was stupid and unrealistic. Not that it matters, especially when a book is for you enjoy it, you enjoy it. Does it need to be realistic? Is what I've learned over the years. But one of my favourite shows for a long time was The Walking Dead, and I just thought reading a good zombie book would be really exciting and really good. I read it was a thriller book, and it was about a trial, like a drug trial that goes wrong. I think there's like 4 or 5 books, but they're quite short, and I think one is called Demon and one is called Dwell, and I can't remember what the other ones are called, but they begin with a D, and I read them on my Kindle. Basically the trial goes wrong and a girl escapes with a guy. I think there's a few others as well, but it's really centered about this girl, and they end up finding out that the whole place and all the doctors and nurses basically are corrupt and are in on it. They escape and basically find out that the whole town is in on these experiments and what they do. So, and it's really, really, really good. It was one of the first books that I literally couldn't put down. It was really exciting to read. And I really like kind of post-apocalyptic, end of the world movies. They're quite exciting, dramatic. There's lots of twists and turns, and I always thought that reading a zombie book would be really exciting and gripping and kind of gruesome and kind of scary. But it's really hard to find a good zombie book. I googled it for ages and I did read some reviews and they were terrible, and it really put me off. I actually saw this one and I like the description, which I'll read to you in a minute. So I didn't really look at the reviews too much because I didn't want to be put off. But to be quite honest, I'm not that far into it. I'm about this halfway, not even halfway, that's how far into it I am. I don't really like it, and I think it's going to be really hard to actually find a good, decent zombie book. it's not written very well. There's a lot of mistakes in it. Yeah, I just don't like it. The story isn't very good. The story's good and I like what's happened so far, but it's just not written very well. I personally so far feel like it's, you know, like the first draft of a book where you kind of quickly write down the idea and you quickly write down what's going to happen, but it's like there's no more detail been added to it. I'm not sure if you read it. Let me know what you thought of it. But I'm not much of a fan of the way it's written. I don't feel like it's written that well. I'm not much of a writer, but I kind of feel like it's something, or how I would write a book. But this is what it says at the back. This is the way the world ends, not with a bang, not with a whimper, but with the rending and tearing of flesh. It begins on a peaceful, beautiful morning. Katie, a prosecutor, is driving to work when a dead man jumps into her car and tries to eat her. Elsewhere in the city, Jenny, a housewife, opens a bedroom door to find her husband devouring their infant son. Fate puts Katie outside Jenny's door when the younger woman flees her zombified family. Fate and Katie's quick reflexes behind the wheel see them safely out of the city, with most of the living are quickly chased down by the undead. The two women begin a cross-Texas odyssey to rescue Jenny's older son and hopefully find safety somewhere. Jenny discovers the great joy of watching a zombie's head explode when she shoots its brains out. Katie learns that the analytical mind is perfect at planning the best attacks and escape routes. A small, isolated town is their only hope. Fewer than 100 people have gathered there, clinging to civilization and hope. They all know the zombies will come for them, but until that day, they will live and love and maybe even laugh. I think it does say that this is the author's first novel, I think, maybe, and two sequels called Fighting to Survive and Siege. If I don't really like this book by the end, I will not be getting the next one. If you've read any good zombie books, let me know. Another genre I would like to try and read is maybe futuristic sci-fi kind of genres. Like, I just watched a film called Alita. It's actually a few years old, but I only just watched it, and it's basically a planet after the fall, basically like a big war. Some people are humans, some people are like cyborgs, and some people are a bit of both. They're like humans but with like robot arms or legs, or and then this doctor creates or finds bits of a cyborg and makes this girl, and she's like super powerful, and it's really, really good. And that's actually based on a book, I think, or comics. I googled it, and it's kind of it's from Japan, and it said there's like 38, I think, volumes, so I don't know if it's books or if it's comics, but it's based on either one of them. And another film I really liked was Ready Player One, which I think would be a really, really good book to read, but again, because I've watched the films, I don't think I can read the books now. But something like that, it's kind of futuristic but sci-fi and a bit different. I'm not really sure what to call that genre, but I think that would be really fun to read. In the future, I might read Ready Player One when I've kind of forgot about the film as much. But I feel like when I watch a film and then read the book, when I'm reading the book, I think, that didn't happen in the film. That's not like it is in the film. And I don't like doing that. So we'll see. that I actually brought by mistake. I'll explain. I read a book on my Kindle called Magpies or the Magpie or something like that, and it was about a woman or a couple that move into an apartment block type thing, and it has a few neighbours and lots of weird, odd things start happening, like dead birds are left on their door step. So I think someone breaks into their apartment and moves things around, and weird letters are left, and it's just really odd. And I read it on my Kindle and really liked it, and really wanted to get it and read again, and wanted to keep it as a book. I googled it and found out which book it was, and kept it on eBay for ages, and kept thinking I'll get that at some point. And then this was on offer for like $1.69 the other day, and I thought, oh, I'm going to get it now and I'll read it again. This came, and it's the wrong Magpie book, so this isn't the one that I thought it was. So I googled it again, and it's actually called The Magpies, and it's written by a man. This is written by a woman, and it's written by a man, so I actually have the correct book on its way. But it means that I just have another interesting book to read, which I'm excited about. I'll read it to you. She's married to him, but does she know him at all? Claire lives with her family in a beautiful house overlooking the water, but she feels as if she's married to a stranger, one who is leading a double life. As soon as she can get their son Joe away from him, she's determined to leave Duncan. But finding out the truth about Duncan's secret life leads to consequences Claire never planned for. Now Joe is missing and struggling to piece together the events of the night that tore them apart. Alone in an isolated cottage hiding from Duncan, Claire tries to unravel the lies they've told each other and themselves. Something happened to her family, but can she face the truth? It actually sounds really good, and I'm actually really looking forward to reading it. So I'm glad I actually brought the wrong one. Oh, it says at the top, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a secret. Can't believe this was like £1.69 on eBay. It's been really sunny here. I've been sitting in the garden a lot and reading, which I love to do. I like sitting outside in the sunshine or just in the fresh air and keeping off my phone and just reading. It's really relaxing. Okay, we've got 2 books left. This one was recommended. I can't remember who recommended it, but I think it was on YouTube, on the community. There was a comment and it sounded really good. I did actually put this on my Throne wish list, but I've just bought it myself, so I've took it off the wish list. But it sounds really good. It's called The Silent Patient. Only she knows what happened, only I can make her speak. Alicia Berenson lived in a seemingly perfect life until one day 6 years ago, when she shot her husband in the head 5 times. since then she hasn't spoken a single word. It's time to find out why. And that's literally all it says. So, it was the #1 New York Times and Sunday Times bestseller. So it sounds like it's going to be pretty good. I love the sound of doing that on books, that kind of sticky sound. I am running out of memory, so I'm just going to quickly show you the last one, which also really like the sound of, called 13. The serial killer isn't on trial, he's on the jury. It sounds really, really good. The murder trial of the century is here. A ruthless prosecutor, a brilliant defense lawyer, a defendant with a secret, and a serial killer on the jury. And that's literally all it says, and then it's just got a few comments here. It sounds very interesting. And a lot of the reviews were really good for this book, so I'm really excited to read it. I like the packaging. The cover of this book, it looks quite daunting and like thriller like. It looks good. The red, the black and the white. Like I said, I have not read any of these yet, so I cannot tell you if they are good or not. Maybe I will do a quick little review once I've read them all. I'll do another little book triggers video and a review of them. Let me know if you have read any of these books without giving anything away. But let me know if you've read any and if you enjoyed them. I would love to know. I am going to leave this video here. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little book haul and book triggers. And I will see you all again in my next video.